Hi everyone, I'm Sakshi Tiwari and I welcome you to our new lesson. Well, have you ever watched a news anchor and wondered how they speak with such clarity, such confidence and such impact? See, whether they are delivering that breaking news or explaining complex topics, news anchors have a way of speaking that's both powerful and polished. And in today's video, we are going to uncover the secrets behind that signature style, from voice modulation and precision pronunciation to pacing and presence. So if you're ready to elevate your spoken English and sound as clear and professional as news anchors, so let's dive in, where we are going to decode this lovely news anchor's speaking style, who is Palki Sharma. So I welcome you to this lesson. I hope you know her. Palki Sharma is an award-winning Indian news anchor known for her balanced delivery, her authoritative tone, and clear storytelling. Her style isn't overly dramatic. It's an amalgamation of, being smart, calm, and engaging at the same time. Now, why Palki Sharma? Why did I pick her? I'm a big fan of hers, big fan of her speaking style, and why I picked her, why I see as a role model in many ways, because she's an example of professional spoken English speaker. She speaks clearly, she speaks confidently, and she's calm. That's the best part about her personality. By studying her, you are learning not just English fluency, but also powerful communication. Many times we feel that, being a confident speaker means being able to yell at others or maybe speaking in that high pitch. But I see it differently. I think the calmer you are, the better speaker you are, right? And this is a sign of powerful communication, right? That the skills that Palki carries that go beyond the news, right? So let's find out certain tips, certain ways how we can talk like news anchors, specifically, Palki Sharma. The first one being calm authority. All right. Now, what is it? See, when you speak calmly, people feel they can trust you. It shows you're not easily rattled by the topic, whether it's a political crisis or a personal story, right? Now, in Palki's style, she sounds calm even when she's talking about the tense events like international disputes. Her tone never wavers, which makes the listener feel safe and focused.
In cozy think tanks, people often debate a question. What is terrorism? Is it religious? Is it political? Or is it a mix? Is it a movement or an ideology? Well, tonight I can show you. I can show you what terrorism looks like. A young woman sitting beside her husband's dead body. This heartbreak, this loss, this tragedy. This is what terrorism looks like.
Right now, if you talk about the real life relevance of it, in meetings or interviews, a calm voice says that, I'm not nervous. I'm here to share important information and I respect your time. All right. Now, this is what the calm, how we communicate in a nice and calm way. So this is one thing, staying calm. Okay, not becoming over dramatic the way I just became, right? So maintaining that pitch and pace is really important. An exercise that you can try is record a short piece of news, like a weather update or something like that. Listen for any hints of excitement or panic in your voice. If you're able to spot any in your voice, repeat until you can deliver it like you're in complete control, even if it's a big event. All right. So this was tip number one, which is being in control, being calm. Yes, speaking in a calm way. The second tip being thoughtful pacing. Now, which means giving time for understanding why it matters. See, when you speak too quickly, people cannot absorb what you're saying. People are not able to understand. They're not able to absorb, comprehend, respond, react in a way that that they're expected to, right? So thoughtful pacing gives your audience time to connect with each point that you're actually making. Like right now, I'm very careful of the pace that I'm, speaking and sharing these tips with you. So I'm not speeding it up. No, I don't want to speak like that. I want to keep it, calm, poised, and at a nice, natural pace. Now, how Palki does it is she uses very natural pauses to let facts sink in. She might pause after a powerful fact, that pause lasts for 2 seconds, and, or after, listing several details, she would pause, right? And it's almost like she's saying that here, think about this for a moment, and then she would pause. Think about this for a moment. Do you know? And then she continues.
Gen Z likes calling it plant pop. Most Indians call it makhana. Makhana is also called foxnut, when it is not a nut at all, it is a seed. It is also called lotus seed, when in fact it is a seed of the water lily and not lotus. This is the contentious plant that gives us makhana. This floating lily is native to Asia, but 90% of the world's makhana comes from just one state, and that is Bihar. It is now a global hit with a market worth $43 million and growing. And it can be tasty, and people are getting quite creative with that last bit. But how did this happen? How did the humble makhana become a global superfood?
So, it's like she sees her viewers sitting right in front of her, as if she's talking and giving time to the listener, to the viewer, to sink in with what is being spoken, right? So that is very important, which is managing the pacing, staying calm and ensuring that you speak at a natural pace. Many times we feel that the faster we speak English, the better speaker of English we are. It might or might not be true. We have to ensure that whatever is being said, the person who's listening to you should be able to make sense out of it, should be able to sink in, should be able to absorb what you're saying, right? Now, in job interviews, pacing shows you're confident and not desperate to finish, right? In conversation, it makes you seem like a thoughtful communicator. Yes, I hope you're able to understand. So today I want you to, take a paragraph of text and read it out loud. After each full stop, after each period, pause for 2 seconds, and it will drastically help you to become a person who is a lot in control while talking, while delivering a speech, while communicating, right? I'm sure you're going to see how it feels when you let your words breathe, right? So this was tip number 2. The third one being balanced emotion, extremely important. Now, in simple words, it is also known as professional empathy. Now, can you see the contradiction or the dichotomy of it, sort of, right? Professional and then empathy. See, why it matters is that people don't just want facts. They want to know that you care. But if you overdo emotions, you lose professionalism on the spot, right? You have to ensure that your approach has to be balanced. And you should neither sound too hurried nor too slow, which means that you're not interested. At the same time, when we talk about emotions, your emotions should also, not be overly communicative, all right? If we talk about Palki strikes this perfect balance so well. If you listen to her, you would want to listen to her, for a longer duration of time, and you would be enchanted by whatever is being spoken by her. You would want to believe and trust that speaker, right? How Palki does it is, she might raise her eyebrows slightly to show concern or soften her voice just a bit when talking about, any human impact. She doesn't let her personal emotions overshadow the story, even if it's very painful, even if it's, let's say we're talking about any terrorist attack or anything of that sort. She would be in a lot control. And this is exactly what we are talking about.
It was supposed to be a day of pure joy. Instead, Bengaluru is in shock today. Their IPL team had finally won the tournament. It was their first IPL trophy in 18 years. First, they headed to the state legislature building, but the main event was 3 kilometers away, the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium. The stadium has a capacity of 32,000, but the government says some 2 to 3 lakh fans had gathered. Pretty soon, the fan frenzy turned fatal. They probably went to sleep yesterday full of hope. Maybe they couldn't sleep from all the excitement. And today they arrived at the Chinnaswamy. Today's event was supposed to be one such memory until it turned fatal.
So let's say when you are discussing any sensitive issues, like let's say family problems or workplace disputes, balanced emotion helps you to be heard and trusted, right? It also makes you come across somebody who maintains that space with the other person or with other people, right? So today I want you to practice reading a serious news story in front of a mirror, all right? And then I want you to notice your facial expressions. Are they too blank, which means are they too cold that you're not caring whatever is happening, or are they too dramatic, which means they're overdone, right? So make that observation about you while you read the news and adjust yourself accordingly to find a calm, caring middle ground. All right, great. So this was the tip number 3. Now comes the 4th one, which is clear, precise language. No room for fillers. All right. Now, fillers, what are they? Fillers are those words that whenever we run short of any actual word, we use them. Like, it's like, now both of these words, all of these words are fillers. Now, fillers make you sound less sure of yourself, less sure of what you want to communicate, what you want to speak. Clean language makes you sound credible and professional. How Palki does it is, she uses short, complete sentences. So there is no rambling. She also chooses words very carefully, not too fancy, but always precise.
At 35, he is Pakistan's Nepo prince. He has 2 famous last names and a foreign accent. But what he's missing is diplomatic skills. Bilawal was addressing a press conference at the United Nations headquarters. He was speaking about terrorism, and he came up with a grand idea: collaboration between India and Pakistan, between the RAW and the ISI. That too to combat terrorism. We say the idea is DOA, dead on arrival, because it's the same ISI that shelters terror networks, the same ISI that has masterminded attacks on Indian soil.
Right? So now let's say that in college presentations, clear language will help you impress professors, right? When you are taking any client call, it shows that you know your stuff. You know why you're making that call. You know, you're confident about what you're talking about, right? Repetition of sentences or maybe using fillers, they end up dropping the impact of you as a communicator, right? So today I want you to record yourself speaking for 1 minute about your day, just 1 minute, all right? Once you're done with recording, play it back, count your filler words. I've done it like so many times with myself, and I still keep practicing one or the other thing with myself just to assess my speech. So try this today. Record yourself and speak about your day for a minute. Once you're done, play it back and count your filler words and practice replacing them with short silences instead, or maybe any other word which you feel you should have spoken instead, right? So this was the 4th tip, which is, avoiding the fillers and stuff. Now comes the 5th tip, which is confident posture and eye contact, all right, which builds that visual trust. Now, people judge you first by your body language. A straight posture says you're present, you're credible, and you're somebody who is an authentic speaker. We can trust you, right? Now how Palki does it is, she sits or stands tall. If you listen to her, with her shoulders relaxed. She keeps her gaze steady, not, darting around. It's not daunting or darting. Now, even when she reads from a prompter, her eyes look directly at you, all right? News anchoring is most of the times reading, but she does it so well that her eye contact, body language is, comes across as very promising, somebody who we can, trust, right?
Finally, we are taking you back in history. On this day in 1937, the world's first shopping carts were introduced in the US. The idea was to increase sales by making it easier for customers to carry more items. And the idea was an instant hit. Men thought it looked weak, and women thought it resembled a baby stroller. But changes in design made it an everyday necessity.
Right? So whether you are giving a speech or chatting with someone, eye contact says that, yes, I value this conversation. Let's say you're fidgeting, using your mobile phone, etc. It shows that you are not interested in this conversation and you don't value the person either, right? Please ensure that you don't slouch or you look down or you look at the, ceiling, etc. Don't do that. It signals nervousness or it signals your disinterest, and the speaker feels demotivated, and that trust that should have been built, it actually breaks, right? I hope we understand. Today what you might try is that stand in front of a mirror and say your name out loud. Yes, check if your shoulders are up, all right, or are they tensed, or they are down, all right? So just assess that about yourself. Now comes the sixth tip, which is smart, engaging intros. Believe me, they matter so much. And when I talk about smart, engaging intros, I'm talking about the storytelling hooks. Now, why it matters is because, see, a boring opening loses your listener. A strong intro sets the tone and makes, people lean in. Now, how Palki does it is she often starts with a question or a provocative statement. Questions are always reflective. Questions will actually make you think deeper about your actions, yourself, the things happening around you. It's not just what she says, but how she actually frames it, right? Now, instead of saying that today we are talking about climate change, she might end up saying that, what if your drinking water turns to poison? Well, that's the story from this small town in India. Do you notice this difference? Yes, one is direct, just telling. The other one is thought-provoking. The other one actually felt really personal. And I was, intrigued to stay for a longer and know how this situation might impact and affect me, right?
For our next story, I want you to have a scenario. Think of this. It's raining outside, you're curled up on your couch, you're craving a bowl of piping hot noodles. Thanks to quick commerce, you won't even have to get up. The vegetables, the noodles, the sauces, they all arrive at your doorstep. But now picture the other side of the story. The same packet of noodles stored in a leaking godown. The vegetables kept on a dirty floor and the sauces stored around scurrying cockroaches. Are you still hungry? Welcome to the dark, grim underbelly of India's quick commerce. This industry is worth nearly $4 billion. It is growing at breakneck speed. It promises instant gratification. But behind the scenes, it is cutting corners on safety and hygiene. Fast delivery, but playing fast and loose with rules. Case in point, Zepto. They have a facility in Mumbai's Dharavi. The regulators decided to inspect it. That's the Maharashtra Food and Drug Administration. They inspected the facility. They found some glaring lapses like fungal...
Right. So today I want you to pick a topic you care about. Write down 2-3 hook sentences that would make someone curious and see how well you end up doing it. Right? Great. So this was the sixth one. Now comes the seventh tip, which is confident vocabulary. Exact, but not showy. Now, what I mean by this is that big words can make you sound smart, but if but if they're, let's say, too complex, they disconnect you from the audience. Now, I think people have started using such words that others do not understand. Now, if we look at Palki uses rich vocabulary. She does use rich vocabulary, but the vocabulary that she uses is actually exact and clear, right? Now, if we talk about Palki, if she has to say that a lot of angry government people are there, she might not say that. Rather, she would replace it with a very crisp alternative, which is she might say that the diplomatic backlash is pretty much evident, etc. Right? So she uses real world terms like escalation or economic fallout. They are precise but not too overwhelming. So again, the choice of words should not be over dramatic or should not add that masala to your speech. You should actually end up speaking facts and in a neutral and balanced emotional way, right?
Let me show you another bizarre comment. This is from a man called Patrick Christie. He calls himself a journalist, and this is what he said.
Congratulate India on landing on the dark side of the moon. I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021. We should not be giving money to countries with a space programme. As a rule, if you can afford to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon...
India has landed on the moon, and British influencers say, return our aid money. If you're going down that road, let's start with reparations. Let's start with the colonial loot. Return that money first. And we have the bill. Some $45 trillion, that's what Britain looted from India between 1765 and 1938. And this is just an estimate. The actual figure could be much higher. But even this 45 trillion is about 15 times Britain's GDP. How about London returns this money first?
Right. So try learning key phrases in the topics you care about, like if you love to talk about climate adaptation, data privacy, job market inflections, etc. So let's say if I am a spoken English teacher, soft skills trainer, content creator, then I should be knowing the vocabulary that I use often, and I must train myself on using those words correctly in a very neutral and balanced way, right? So use them naturally, not to show off, but to communicate in the right way. Today, I want you to pick 5 new words that you can from, let's say, a news story. Make short sentences using them in your own voice, like you're explaining it to a friend, and see what changes you're able to, see in yourself. Right? Great. So these were the 7 tips that you can use, you must use to speak like news anchors, specifically to talk and communicate like Palki Sharma, right? What were those tips? The first tip being, calm and steady voice, no drama in that. Natural pauses, let your ideas sink in to the listener, let your ideas get absorbed and settle, right? The third one, professional empathy, soft empathy. So your eyes, slight nods, etc., they matter. The fourth one being clear words, so no filler, clutter, etc. All right. Fifth one, upright posture and steady eyes. We have to work on our body language. It communicates that visual confidence, right? Sixth one being engaging opening lines, so draw them in. Make people think what you're actually narrating and telling. And the last one being precise but simple words, so smart words, not showy or those tacky words, right? So build your own confident style. Palki's secret isn't just perfect English. It's never the English, it's never that English grammar, but it's the confidence that gets translated through your words, through your communication, through your charm, right? And the respect she brings into every story, the authenticity, the genuine way of communicating that comes along. These tips aren't about copying her voice. I want you to find your own professional, calm English voice, all right? But you must take inspiration from her and from the tips that were shared with you in this video, right? I hope that the video was helpful. Please let me know in the comment section which tips you are going to implement to find your own professional style, to find your own, way of communicating professionally in English, right? So I'll see you in the next lesson. Till then, keep learning, keep growing, and I wish you a very happy learning.